Hi there, it's Andrew from Parker Adams Boat Sales. I'm standing here in the wonderful Port Solent Marina and I'm on board a Beneteau GT38. This boat is an immaculate example of a really fantastic size sports cruiser. It's packed full of technology. It's powered by Volvo Penta D4 260 horsepower engines controlled with a joystick. So you've got effortless control at the tip of your fingers. This boat is a really fantastic example and there's loads and loads to see inside. So I'm excited to bring the rest of this walkthrough tour. If you haven't done so yet, please subscribe to the channel and I'll get on with the rest of the walkthrough tour. Okay, so I'm now down below in the saloon area of the Beneteau 38 GT. One of the things that I love about this saloon area is it is really dominated by light. Now, the cabin space isn't huge, but it feels a very generous size. And most of it is because of this gap up here. So if you look up here, you've got a skylight, which is actually really clever. It's probably about 8 foot long because you've got a fixed skylight, which then blends across into the hatch for the actual opening of the door. And then you've got a glass door hatch. So even if it was hammering down with rain and you're hunkered down here in the warm, actually you've still got a huge amount of light coming in from the outside space. I really like that. The interior of the boat feels very modern. Although you've got a dark cherry wood, which is more traditional and perhaps aligned with the Fairlines, sort of 2000s, this boat, because it's got the white gleaming upholstery, because of the sharp edges around, it actually feels much more modern than those boats. And I think their use of space on board this boat for a 38-foot boat is really exceptional. So all around here, it's pretty standard layout. You've got a lovely L-shaped seating area here that's probably good for about 4 people with perhaps another person tucked onto the side. You could get an extra seat here as well if you wanted, but I'll show you upstairs in the cockpit space later. There's so much space out there, you don't really need to do too much more with down here. In terms of the galley space, the galley is driven by this 3 burner hob. There is a generator fitted to this boat, so it's all electric, there's no gas. You've got a television mounted up here, and then just popped underneath here. If we lift that up, you've got access to a microwave combi oven as well. Storage space all the way down here, so there's plenty of space to put everything. And I like little touches like the sink is all moulded in, so that's all one piece there, which is specifically built for this boat. So all the mouldings, your drains there for your plates, everything is all together, and it just feels very good quality and bespoke built for the boat. There's 1 heads on this boat and it's a good size. So this is the heads here. It doubles up as a wet room, so you can see it's got a countertop sink. Again, with this feature of light coming through, you've got a skylight which is frosted up there, so no looking down on someone in the shower. The shower is there, and then that curtain wraps around to create that into a wet room in there. And then I refer to these all the time, that all-important vent there for the central heating, so in the middle of the winter, that is nice and toasty. If we come through into this front room here, so this room really is, again, dominated by light. You've got lovely porthole windows all the way around, but you've got an island central bed, which is really spacious, but still a good amount of space down here to change. You've got an opening porthole at the top, which is an emergency access as well, and then little blinds all the way down here, which make this feel very premium. You can see you can have the blinds up as this side, or all the way down on the other. Good amount of wardrobe space as well. So this side here is set to drawer space. And then over on the other side, you've got that set as a really good size hanging space locker as well. So it's a lovely front cabin, and it's a cabin, yeah, I'd say it's a nice place to spend time. You could mount a TV on there if you wanted to, or just leave it as a nice cozy bedroom. Let's come back through there. So as we come through back into the saloon area, there is one further cabin which actually I think is really unique on this size boat, and it's down here. And the reason it's unique is because it's full width. So 38-foot boat, remember, but you've got a cabin that goes all the way the full width of the boat. And you've seen down here, I've got the sun pad cushions down here, and I've actually left them down here deliberately, because quite often sun pad cushions can be an absolute pain to store. And on my own boat, I'd actually have anywhere to put them, so I have to leave them out all the time. But the sun pad cushions actually fit perfectly down here when they're not being used, which is ideal. Now this can be made up as 2 singles, so you've got single this side, single that side, or there's an infill which makes this into a huge, great big bed on this side. And then storage space everywhere you look. So even to here, you've got very deep storage locker in there. You've got the same on the other side. big storage locker at the back here. So it really is focused on maximising the most amount of space that you possibly can for a 38-foot boat, and I think it does that incredibly well. So if you come back up into the cockpit space, the stairs not overly steep, so it doesn't feel that you're going down too much into a cave down there. But again, you've got all this light around, and I love the fact that it's a hardtop cruiser, so it gives you so much more versatility. During the summer, press a button, opens up. During the winter months, press a button, closes up, and keeps this into a really cosy space. The other thing I like is the use of windows. So many hardtop cruisers don't have opening windows here, and I think that's really useful to be able to talk to people outside if you don't have that hardtop open. I talked about glass doors. You can see there, this is that expansive door where you just pull that across. That slides across on bearings, which is really nice. And now you can see just how much light there is all the way across there, all the way down to that door. And it's just all feels really, really good quality. There you go, there's a little nodule there that clips into. The other thing that's a bit different about this boat is it's got a central helm position, and I think that's pretty cool. So you can drive the boat with the roof open, standing up in this position, and you've got a bolster here so that gets out your way, or you can bring that down and sit down in a central helm position, which is really nice. So used to being offset to one side, but all the controls are really nice and easy to hand. And there is this magical joystick. So although this boat is on stern drives, not pods, the stern drives are designed to work independently of each other. So when you move the boat sideways, into circles, the pods move into different ways, which provide thrust in different directions. It really is useful. The display here is a really nice clear Simrad display. That gives a 3D view, that's connected with a fish finder as well, so that gives you your view of the bottom. And then of course, because it's the Volvo D series, you've got that later generation dials, and then you've got Volvo Penta controls on here to show you what the engine's doing rev-wise, and that was all replicated up there as well. These engines, they cut about 460 hours. The boat is still in use, the owner's still using the boat, so it may go up a little bit, but the engines have been immaculately maintained by Blackgang Marine here in Port Solent, and all the detailing work on the boat as well has been done by Platinum Marine, which is a fantastic marine detailing company that we work quite closely with, together with South Coast Yacht Care. So the throttles, again, the later generation EDCs, so you've got that later generation, in fact that's still the same design that they use today, and you do have a bow thruster as well, so you've got both the versatility of the joystick but also a bow thruster on there as well. This seat is a cool seat. I look at this as a fairground ride seat. So if you've got a third person who's with you, because of course there's a double helm seat there, look at that. It actually feels like you're going on a roller coaster. So I like that. So if you're in rough weather, it's great to see that Beneteau have thought about handholds and where people are able to put their hands when you're going along. And you've got side window access there as well, which is pretty cool. It's all laid to teak, so you've got lots and lots of teak all the way. And again, this has all been beautifully cleaned and really, really nicely maintained. And there's a hidden secret under here. One of my favourite features in the cockpit of a boat, a wet bar. So you've got there a hot and cold plate, so you can do your cooking up here, hot and cold running water down here. You've got a bin, which is inside that one. And then just inside this one here, you have a cockpit fridge as well. So you can keep all your beers or bits and bobs for your barbecue nicely nestled into there. All the upholstery is a Silvertex material, presented in excellent condition, and you have this full length chaise longue. What an awesome place to do a bit of sunbathing there. Look at that. Just relaxing here, watching the world go by. I'll try not to drift off, but it's a really cool place. And then a really good U-shaped seating. It looks really deep, this area. If you could probably, I reckon, get 8 or 10 friends all around that area there. The table, this is in its half-shaped cocktail form. If you open it up, you'll see just again the condition of the table. It's beautiful, and that really is set up for a banquet. You get a fantastic feast on there. So this area, you could comfortably get 10, 12 people around that area, because you're utilising the edge of the chaise longue there as well. Engine room access is very, very good on this boat. Nice and easy to get into here. One little tip the owner mentioned was just to lift that cushion up there, just because that makes sure it's clear of the table. Open up there, twist that, and then that just opens up there. And if I just take the camera for a second, we'll look down there. There's a outboard engine bracket, which is very useful to have down there. And then the two beastie Volvo 260s nestling down there. And then a Fisher Panda 4000, so 4 kilowatt Fisher Panda generator is there as well. The boat's fitted with 650 litre fuel tank, 200 litre petrol. So you've got plenty of range and capacity there. And just nestled on that back there, you've also got a heater, which is a really useful feature to have in an engine bay, permanently stored in there, so no bar heaters to trip over in the winter. So that's really nice and clean and tidy down there, which is nothing different than I would have expected on this boat, because everywhere else is immaculate. I'll just pop that back down again. And then just pop those clips in. So good easy access to the engine bay. And as we move across onto the rear of the boat, you can see the stern is all laid to teak. For tender wise, you could put snap davits on here, you could have hurley davits, lots of different options. But you've got good access up onto the side decks on both of the sides. So you've got steps on either side to get up. And I will just go around there now. So Nick, if you follow me up here, in fact, yeah, you can stay on the pontoon, saves you clambering around. All the deck is all moulded. You've got twin diesel tanks and access to them is just there. Then as you walk forward, you can see the moulded deck, good handrails all the way around, and a good side walkway as well, slightly scalloped in for each of the stanchions, which is quite nice. It gives a bit more space between them. And as we move forward, that's where the sun pad cushions that you saw earlier go. So sun pad cushions go onto that space there. And if I take the camera for a second, something which is quite typical of Port Solent is that they have issues on the length of boats that are able to be here. So the owner of this boat has got a very natty system here with the anchor, where the anchor is on a pivot, which lifts that out the way, which means it is slightly less long than it would be, which means it's able to be here in Port Solent. But of course, any other marinas you go to, when they come to measure your boat, it's slightly less than the standard 38 GT. So you save a little bit of money there as well. So that's a reason just to show you what's going on there at the front of the boat. So it's all very, very nice and clean and fresh. You can see literally there's no marks on this. This boat really is presented in beautiful condition, and absolute credit to the owner there. So let's have a wander back. I'll go and sit down and give my final thoughts on the boat. It's good access, just step down and then into the rear area again. So it has been a pleasure to come back on board this boat. It is a really, really nice boat. It's presented beautifully. You can see the owners really, really have cared for it. It's a fantastic cruising boat, so effortless to go down to the West Country, across the Channel, and it's just presented in really, really special condition. In terms of the design features, I think it's lots of innovations on it. I love the fact on a 38-foot boat, you've got a full width cabin, you've got the skylights down below, and just lots and lots of space. We're going to get to find out how she handles. We're taking this boat out in a couple of weeks' time to do the drone video, and we'll have a completely separate video for that set to music, so you'll be able to see how this boat performs as well. Because in terms of the hull, there's quite a unique setup on the hull where you have something called an air step. What it does is it drags a bit of air in from outside, which lubricates the bottom of the hull, which just makes the boat a little bit more slippery. So it uses a bit less fuel, performs slightly better. So I'm quite looking forward to seeing how that performs out at sea as well. So I think I've covered pretty much everything. So if any questions, please feel free to put it down into the comments. It's been brilliant to show you this boat, and I look forward to bringing you the next video. As mentioned at the beginning, if you haven't done so yet, please subscribe to the channel, and any questions, put them down below. Happy to answer. Thanks as always for watching.